Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We have a big show. This is a huge announcement. I guess we'll begin the show with a large announcement. You're going to hear for pretty much the second half or the final two-thirds of this show. You're actually going to hear a podcast that we recorded 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago or so when we were in Florida. The big announcement is that we are officially TaylorMade athletes. We're Team TaylorMade. We will be using their clubs. We will be using their ball. For those of you that are observant, you noticed in the latest four-man scrambles, yeah, we all got TaylorMades. We've been rocking the Sim. We've been rocking their P770s, P790s, their putters, everything. Now, what all does this entail? How did this happen? How did this come about? We're going to discuss it all. Like I said, we recorded a podcast in Florida. We kind of teased before Thanksgiving that we were in Florida, that we were doing some really cool stuff. Now you've probably seen our teaser that we put out where we filmed with DJ, with Morikawa, with Fleetwood, with Wolf, with all these guys that are TaylorMade athletes. And we filmed some really, really cool stuff. And now we're going to be rolling those videos out for the next several months. And this podcast, like I said, which we recorded a few months ago, this podcast, we go into what that day was like. We were with DJ. I think it was 10 or 11 days after he won the Masters. We were filming with him. The sponsorship situation and, being athletes, I guess you want to call it, which is laugh out loud funny. We're clearly the worst sponsored golfers in the world. But this is something we've worked at for a very long time. We think that there is huge upside in getting more into equipment. We understand that you listeners, followers, viewers are very into equipment. People are incredibly astute. The stuff that you guys notice from videos, when we post a picture, we post any video, is crazy town. So we want to get significantly more into equipment. We shopped around. We spoke with a bunch of different equipment companies. TaylorMade's a company for us. They've clearly got a lot of our favorite athletes, Rory, Tiger, for a reason those guys choose to play TaylorMade. And now we're going to be playing it on the other end of that spectrum in terms of how can you get game improvement stuff? How can you possibly find a driver, a shaft, an iron head, a 3-wood, a 5-wood that Frankie was hitting this past week, whatever it may be, to significantly improve your game and get the most out of your game. We're going to be doing that with TaylorMade throughout this entire year. So that's largely what this show is about, is the boys becoming Team TaylorMade guys. And we're now on the same level, like I said, as Tiger Woods, as Rory McIlroy, as Dustin Johnson. And it feels very good.
This is the first time that the flip-flop of days and when we talk about things and when we release it is all jumbled in my head. Like usually Frankie gets killed by that of like, we're talking about it now, we're releasing it then. But the fact that kind of we have all the TaylorMade stuff, we've done it prior, now we're talking about it, releasing tomorrow, for whatever reason, is just all jumbled.
It's a mess. It's a mess, but what's even more of a mess, and Riggs just said it, is we are considered athletes.
Right.
I've often said before I hit a drive during a scramble, be an athlete. It's my go-to line. Just do it just one time. And now, we're getting recognized for it. There's a couple videos out there that are stunning that's going to come out that like you can't believe. Like what we did with Dustin Johnson is just so preposterous. I mean, even looking back now, like the fact that it was 11 days after the Masters and we were just playing golf with Dustin Johnson, to me is like, that's the most oh shit foreplay moment that we've had yet. That was just so fucking outrageous. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. We went to the Kingdom, and we have a video for that, which is just for any equipment guru or hardo or whatever you want to call yourself. If you're fucking that into equipment, the Kingdom is your kingdom. It's your heaven. Dude. I mean, the stuff that happens inside that place is preposterous. And I'll just leave it with this: is we walked into this room and our bags were in a locker room illuminated with our names on them. And it went Frankie Borelli, Sam Riggs-Bezoyan, Ben Lurch Severance, Tiger Woods, and then it went Trent Ryan. So like that was what we walked into. They wanted to show us that we are part of the team. And it's just a preposterous like fake life type thing that's going on right now. And I couldn't be happier. Honestly, we had all these other clubs, we were mixing them in, and now we finally this is the first time we're actually hitting it. Like we're hitting it hard. I was going to say like the foreplay line there, but like like they have gone all in on this. Like they're like anything you want to show your listeners, your readers, like anything you want to like you want to experiment with, any sort of driver, any sort of crazy, like they are all in. TaylorMade just gets it more than any brand that I've ever seen get it in this field. And I'm so excited to be a part of them because I love their clubs. And we'll get into all that. Like they're cheat clubs. Like I've never seen a ball just shoot off irons like this in my entire life.
Well, there's been buzz building about how my golf game has been improving these last 2 or 3 scrambles. Those are all TaylorMade clubs. I've been using exclusively TaylorMade clubs, P790s, and I've been hitting my irons like a fucking pro, like a sponsored athlete that I am. And that's a big part of the reason why. Yeah, I've done some tweaks with, my finger grip and whatever, but it's mostly been TaylorMade, and I could not be more excited to have them in my bag because who knows what my game is going to look like with a full year of that under my belt. Like I'm going to be incredible. So if you've been seeing me play well, it's because of the TaylorMade clubs.
I mean, I shot 71. I shot whatever you want to call it, career low, somewhere in the mix of the best rounds I could ever play. And then, yeah, the people that are very keen on what's going on, because I didn't even intentionally do this, but when I hold out for eagle, when I hold out for the bunker, I took a picture of it and it was TaylorMade right on my ball. And I got a bunch of chirps like, oh, TaylorMade, TaylorMade, TaylorMade. It's like, yeah. And if you want to dial your game in, you go to the Kingdom, because that place, as Frankie alluded to, it's just majestic. It's incredible. Like
perfect name for what it is.
Right. There's a putting lab that dials in, like whether you take it inside, outside, then we're going to like doctor up the putter to be exactly so you in tune. I think he was trying to get it within 2 degrees of online. So like if you're within 2 degrees, you can make 20-foot putts at a much higher consistency and all this other, like these little nuances and details. And there were so many numbers on the screen in the Kingdom, and I was like, no, you just tell me what I need. You put that club in my hand, but I don't need all the data. You do the data, you analyze it, and then you put it in layman's terms. So if you're looking to doctor your game in, get to the Kingdom in this year if you can.
Look at my stroke on the putting lab. It's laugh out loud funny. Just goes like way back inside, a little loopy back outside. But
banana.
Dude, the putting lab. So I think we're all pretty much spider guys now. So people are going to notice that. But yeah, you go in there, the putting lab. He says like this technology is so good and so up to date that the next time you guys are here, this lab will be completely different because they just update it all the time. But yeah, the putting lab was really, really, really cool to see your stroke that up close, to have them put different putters in your hands and be able to just instantly measure how the ball comes off. If it comes off with any roll, it's supposed to, like putter has 3 or 4 or 5 degrees of loft. So it's supposed to come off a little bit up into the air. So it gets rolling above the grass. And like the putter that I was using was sort of driving the ball down into the grass, which leads to some issues, which like, there's no way to know that. I think you pick up a putter. If it feels okay, it feels okay. And like feel is always going to be a part of the game, obviously. But yeah, I mean, the ability at the Kingdom, which if you don't know, the Kingdom is just TaylorMade's elite, top of the line fitting facility in the San Diego area. Like their ability to just put a certain, iron head in your hands and then just change a shaft and watch your ball flight change is laugh out loud funny. Like the only thing they changed, like, yeah, just make the same swing. And all of a sudden I had like a 6 iron going 6 to 7 more yards, launching significantly higher and coming in like having a lesser landing degree, right? So it doesn't come in as hot, it comes in softer. And you'd think like if you hit the ball higher, it just doesn't go as far with like an iron, or do you get like weak and it's spinning up? And no, they just tweak a shaft. Or like I had the wrong lie angle on my irons and they just tweaked that like 1 degree. And then instead of my irons, like the toe digging into the grass and the ball coming off like a fraction dead, all of a sudden they just tweaked the lying a little bit. And my club was going through the turf perfectly like level and leaving a perfect divot, and the ball just sails in the air. And you're like, wait, that was the same shitty swing that I always make, but the ball did that. That's fucking cool.
They also pump your tires the whole time you're swinging and like playing. And what I'm trying to do is like everybody's trying to play well, I feel like, in that moment, so that you get the right fitting, you want to make the right swings, yada yada. But like they pump you up. Like when I was trying to doctor in my driver, and like he was playing with shafts and tinkering with different things. He's like, you deserve so much more length than what your swing is currently giving you in the distance. And I started like I was landing at like 268, rolling to 282. By the end of that thing, I was landing at 282 and rolling to 295. And I was like, you're you're a magician. Whatever you're doing in this world is just, I can't express how much I love you, Dwayne, because you're just fantastic. And I know T Daddy, you were getting, I mean, you were only one stall to the right, and he was tough talking you, pumping you up. It was like a football coach, it sounded like, on the other end.
Yeah, no, my guy was good to me. It was tough love is what it was, which I appreciated. And like mine was 20% fitting, 80% lesson. Like he was just, this is what you got to get. You got to fix your setup a little bit. He basically took the Kisner knuckle tip and everything I've done with that and like supercharged that. So yeah, no, those guys were great. Like I feverishly wrote down in my notes of my phone, like what he was telling me, because I was like, I need to remember all this. I mean, obviously some of it's filmed, but not all of it. So like, I was like, I need to get to my phone right now so I can write all this stuff down, because otherwise I'm going to forget. And luckily I wrote it all down. So hopefully I'm even better the next time out.
I can't wait to play around with Trent. He hits like a bad tee shot. You see him pull out his phone, looking at the app, like,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Fuck. I forgot about it.
Like you just forgot how to swing.
Dude, that's a very good idea. I was like 3 or 4 years ago, somebody told me that for the first time. Dude, anytime you play around the golf when you're just flushing it, we all have those days where you're like, dude, doesn't really feel, but like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm hitting it. I was told, like, open up your notes app, have like a golf swing tab, and just write down whatever your swing thoughts are or whatever's going on so that you have them for the next time, and actually can make a massive difference. The Sim 2 is a cheat club. Like, that is just that thing. At one point, I hit a ball in just normalized conditions. I hit a ball 294, which, like, you've seen my swing. I don't even use my hips, and I don't hit the ball 294. Like, that's not possible. It's the Sim 2. The thing is just a cheat club.
Yeah, it's crazy. I walked in, and even the Sim 3 woods and 5 woods, I walked into that place and the guy's like, oh, do you want like a 3 wood, 5 wood? I'm like, I'm going to leave here with no woods because I've never hit one off the ground. If anyone's ever watched any video of foreplay, I've never hit a 3 wood off the deck ever. Never once. I don't even try. I don't even attempt it. And he's like, we're going to fix that today. He put a 3 wood in my hand, taught me a new swing. And I swear to God, I ended up having him on the ground laughing because I hit this 1 3 wood. It was like 265 carry, 282 rollout off the deck. And he just looked at me and goes, I'm a fucking boss, like to himself. Like I'm that fucking boy, like pounding his chest. Like, I told you that I would fucking dial you in. I'm like, I didn't believe him at all. I'm like, dude, I can't be helped. I've never done it. 5 years, 6 years. I haven't hit a 3 wood off the deck. I just can't do it. So yeah, that's just what they were dealing with over there at TaylorMade. I mean, the guys who were fitting us like help fit Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. Like they dial in Tiger's wedges, whatever the fuck that means. So, we are in a good spot when it comes to equipment. There's no denying that. And I'm excited to see what more we can do. I mean, I think that we're going to be able to experiment with some cool shit with them.
You got the hat up. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, the Kingdom hat is so sick, dude. It's a perfect script. Like for some reason, everything, it feels like it was touched by Tiger. I don't know if you guys agree. Like, everything in that room had to have been approved by the boss man, or else he's not Team TaylorMade. Like, he walks around and everyone like stands behind him, and then he like nods his head and they all like clap like as he walks in each room. Yes. Almost like Kim Jong-un or something. You know what I mean? Like, as he's walking through, like they're all like, oh my God, here he comes, like the supreme leader. And then he just like nods his head and they all walk to, not saying that he's Kim Jong-un. But
I'm not going to compare Tiger to.
No, but like that same vibe of walking through a room. Like, if my point is, like, if someone had a room wrong, they're dead.
I see him going through like with a white glove, like trying to get dust.
yes, exactly, bro.
Trying to find dust.
And he just points his finger at someone and that person just gets like shot.
Okay.
Like, he's just like done.
That's better.
Something like that.
Something like that.
But like in a cartoon, not real. We're not
in
really.
A cartoon. And that's what I feel like when I'm wearing this hat.
Or like when Dr. Evil presses the buttons and the chairs fly back. That's comic, but also getting the point across.
You shot me in the arm.
Those movies are crazy good.
Yeah, they are.
Austin Powers is I don't want to say it's underrated, but people just don't talk about it enough, like as an all-time comedy. Like, we're not actively talking about how funny Austin Powers is.
I mean, it happened so long ago. Like, I think the first one came out in the 90s.
I think so.
They're great. They're still great.
They're extremely funny, but it's just been a long time.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a lot more coming on the TaylorMade front, the TP5, TP5X. I still like, he asked me, he's like, which ball you kind of play? And I was like, I usually go with the less spinny one because I'm just trying to keep the ball in play. And he's just like, well, what does that mean? I was like, I don't know. Like that's the depth of my knowledge and approach to the entire thing and he's like, I think maybe the TP5, you're probably going to want something a little more spin. You hit it a little higher, it's going to land softer, and going through it, I was like, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And he's like, is that going to be a huge change? And I was like, dude, I change balls every shot. Like what you're telling me, I'm not expressing to you how little it actually matters to me. That nugget that I gave you was just so that it seemed like I knew a little bit about what I was talking about. But in reality, like actually, if I just were to pull a TP5 instead of a TP5X out of my bag, and I were to have one good golf hole, I'm just using a TP5 now for the next month and a half because I'm going to be all psyched up about it. So whatever you think, I think now I'm going to be a TP5 guy. It's laughable that we just get golf balls. Like they're just sending us golf balls, however many that we need. I'm positive that they're not going to send enough. I don't think that they get it. Last time in the 4-man scramble against Pat Perez, there was a mad scramble in the end of the scramble for everyone to find TaylorMade golf balls because we had lost so many in desert golf. And we were worried that on video, we weren't going to have TaylorMade balls. That's going to be a bad look. People were frantically like, hey, who's got a TaylorMade in their bag? We got 4. Okay, there's 2 holes left. I think we can make it through 2 holes with 4 golf balls. So I don't know that they understand how many balls we're going to need.
I think they've never estimated like whatever number or evaluation system or whoever's got some sort of Excel sheet that's like, all right, we give X amount to our whatever. They have to rework that formula because they have no idea how many balls they have to send to our houses. I told the guy, it's almost like how I like my bacon, like burn it, think about throwing it out, leave it on for another second, and then send it over to my table. Like, think about the most number of golf balls you could possibly give someone, and then tack on 5 more boxes of full boxes.
That's exactly what Lurch and I were saying at the Kingdom. We were just talking amongst ourselves, and we said, all right, so think of a number of golf balls that makes you uncomfortable, makes you think, boy, that's a lot of golf balls, and double it. Like, whatever number makes you uncomfortable that you think you're like, boy, this guy, they need this many balls, double that number. And I think Frankie said it was on a business call on some Zoom, but he was like, Trent, I need to be sleeping on golf balls. Like, my apartment just needs to be as full of golf balls as it can possibly be because I just lose golf balls all the time.
Yeah.
I just, when we were talking with like our TaylorMade, contact about like how many balls I want, I initially just said 3 boxes, and then I just took out the 3 and just let him decide on how many he was going to send me. So I was like, I'd like, a couple balls of TP5s, and I'm just going to let him make that decision of how many balls he's going to send me. And I can't wait, whether it's going to be, a couple boxes or just a truckload. I'm so excited to see, and I hope it's more of the
I want to hear that boop, boop, boop outside my house this week.
There's going to be an awkward moment, I know it, where I'm out of golf balls and I'm afraid to ask them because of how many they've already sent me and how unreal it's going to be in their brains that I could possibly need more.
When we went to Florida for these videos, they stacked our new bags with maybe 50 to 60 balls. It was like that many balls. And I lost them all after halfway through the second scramble. It was gone.
Those were gone so fast. It was crazy how fast those balls were lost. Also, at that point, when you get something new and it's basically told you that you have an infinite supply, your care goes way down of like when that thing goes into left field. We played with DJ, and anyways, he basically hit balls into Narnia and just said, okay, I just need to like warm up lefty. So he just like hit balls lefty. And they just went to Never Neverland.
What was my guy calling balls? What was my guy calling balls at the Kingdom, man? He kept using, they weren't pearls. They were something so cool. I think he may have been calling them pearls or something else that was just, I never once commented on it, but he knew that I thought it was cool the way he was talking about balls. But it goes to the fact of like, they had so many balls at the Kingdom that he was calling them something that weren't balls. He was like, grab maybe a couple of those pellets or something like that. Like, let's grab a couple pellets. Or it was, right. It was something that like he just didn't care about how many they
Like
had.
a pathetic term for a
A
golf ball.
pathetic amount, like just grab me one of those little fucking branches. Not branches, but like I'm trying to think of like something we have an abundance of, like grains of rice.
We might. I mean, bottom line is we might put TaylorMade out of business with how many balls we get.
The other thing, sorry,
yeah.
that Riggs said that his instructor, coach, fitter told him was the golf ball is the most important decision of your golf game. And I'm thinking back into like when I played my best golf, or I have no idea what golf ball I played. You know what I mean? And like if that's going to be the most important thing, you think you want to replicate that? It could have been anything.
Yeah,
I know this last time it was a TaylorMade, but it could have been TP5 or TP5X. Don't know. And then when I shot a 73, I have no idea what ball that is.
Yeah, I go from like Tour Response to TP5S, whatever. I told it, he's like, which one did you like? I said, I like the one that has the black on it, like the black logos. And he's like, oh, okay, it's like a TP5. I'm like, yeah, that one's really good for my swing. He's like, he's like, you just like the way it looks. Like, I mean, that's half the battle is looking down at that thing and making sure it's glistening and looking good. And also a cool little thing is we're gonna get so many balls and we're getting all our own personalized stuff on it. So like I'm getting a Borelli's logo on mine. So if you're in the New York metro area, or if you go to places that we're going to be traveling to, you may see Borelli's balls just flying all over, like just covering the woods area. Yeah, you will see. Like I cannot wait for Borelli's balls to make it into the market of people's bags and in their pockets, because it's not just staying with me. It will be in other people's pockets, and I cannot wait for that.
That's like guerrilla marketing.
Well, we used to do that. We used to do that with Borelli's. Me and my dad would print them on and would say, "Bring to bar one free drink," and we would go to Eisenhower Red, like our favorite local public course, and we would just fucking play around, and we would lose hundreds of them. Like we would lose so many of them, and people would bring them into the bar, and my dad would get the ball back, so he didn't have to buy a new one, and he'd give them a drink. So it was a never-ending cycle of you give me the ball back, you foul my ball, I'll give you a beer, and let's go. And
that's one of the best marketing campaigns.
Ravioli, maybe some chick parm, and your dad wins.
Yep, make a little money. And we did tees too. So my dad would get on the tee box, and he'd reach into his pocket and just maybe accidentally drop a couple tees. He'd just have a full pocket of tees, and there'd just be brand new tees with just bring in for a drink. Yeah, it was cool.
That's smart.
We should redo that.
It is smart. Okay, there's a lot more on the TaylorMade front coming. Like I said, we recorded an entire show. I know that trips us up. We're not very good with the chronological stuff, but we recorded all this. We go through what the entire day was like, meeting these guys, playing with these guys, filming with these guys. So that's coming up here in a second. Reminder that please go support our friends at Owens Craft Mixers. They are the official Barstool cocktail mixer. Owens Craft Mixers gives anybody, even you folks out there, the ability to make a high quality cocktail right at home. Perfect for anyone like us. If you don't have a clue how to make cocktails, or you're just not very good at it, you haven't put in the time, it's not your craft, you literally just mix Owens with whatever liquor you would like to drink, and you're good to go. It's that simple. Barstool and Foreplay, that's us, have teamed up with Owens to create the perfect transfusion mix. Delivers a crisp, refreshing flavor combination of real grape juice and ginger ale. Just add vodka, simple as that, and you have a perfect transfusion. It is our favorite drink. It has been for years, so go get yourself involved. Now available on Amazon. Look for Owens and the transfusion. Huge price drop for the product. Amazon Prime gives you 1-day ship anywhere in the country. Perfect for holiday season, even though holiday season's over, so that's not a great thing to put in the ad copy, but luckily we can adapt. Point is, go to Amazon, get it delivered. Huge price drop for the product. Amazon Prime. Leave a good review of the transfusion and show it a little bit of love on Amazon. That goes a long way, but a big thanks to Owens. A few quick things to run down before we get to the pre-recorded podcast. Our whole show pretty much has the COVID. Pretty unlucky in a way, in that we've probably seen each other 8 or 10 times in the last year since COVID happened. And then last week we talked about how we were filming in person. It is great recording podcasts in person, is wonderful. And then literally the very next day I started to feel a symptom, and it is spread. Frankie appears to be like Superman, which is very frustrating. I'm rooting for Frankie to get it, just I want to be on the record. I'm rooting for Frankie to get it, but he seems to just be able to avoid it, which is very frustrating.
That's a dangerous line over there, Riggs, to be rooting for him.
Well,
I want Frankie to get it.
well, listen,
I'm officially on the.
I've got something going on over here. I don't know what's happening, but listen, you guys all have coronavirus, and I hope you guys all get through it. It's a nasty fucking virus. This thing sucks. The fact that we're still dealing with this thing in January of 2021 is mind-boggling to me. And it's getting worse. It's getting crazy. Hospitals are filling up. It's fucking horrible. What's happening over here in my head, my brain, my body is something that I don't know. I think I have to go to some sort of like university and get checked out. That maybe I am the answer, or so. I don't know what's happening, but I've been around COVID so much. At one point it hit, and Lurch just said again, Lurch, you can tell us he left. He left before. He just sent us a message again that he's leaving. Sorry, boys, need to go on the call. Just say it, and now he's gone. Just fucking say you gotta leave.
He always sends a Zoom DM.
Just say you have to leave. Just interrupt me. We're just a bunch of fucking idiots in our rooms. Like, just fucking say it. This isn't a fucking CEO. Like they're talking about the new IPO shit. Like you're not like talking to your investors here. You can fucking just say it. Anyway, I've been around COVID like crazy. At one point, it hit my house pretty hard. My dad got it. My sister got it. My sister got it at work. Got it at work. She is in she works in the hospital, so she like was around it a lot. She brought it back because she saw her family one day. My dad got it. My sister got it. My girlfriend got it. Her family got it. Now my other sister has it. You guys all have it. And somehow, guys, and I haven't even told you guys this, I just got back my PCR. I am 100% negative.
Wow.
And my antibodies negative. So
you
how
never
the
had it.
fuck? Never have had it, and I just never have gotten it. I don't know how it's possible. I was in the car with you guys where you guys legitimately got it. Like that's how Trent got it, was in that car. We were sitting in the car. You had it. Trent now got it. I'm sitting in the same car for the same amount of time, and I'm just not getting it. Tell me how that's possible. I'm just 100% negative. I've gotten 3 rapid tests and a PCR, all since seeing you guys Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been 8 days since I've seen Riggs. The first time, nothing.
I'm jealous.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like spit in your face.
No, I would if I were you. That's fine.
I'm not trying to gloat. I'm trying to figure out why.
I don't know. That is stunning. I thought for sure that this PCR, I just thought you were asymptomatic and it was going to come back positive. But the fact that came back negative
came back at like 3:00 in the morning, which was bizarre. These guys working around the clock. I mean, I hope they are, but 3:00 in the morning, I got an email and it was just like negative. And then I frantically checked the antibodies. It said negative. What the fuck?
Dude, I had a pretty awkward, so I go to the urgent care and I get the PCR test. They say it's going to be like 24 hours. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're like, here's your portal. You can check, but we're going to call you as soon as your results come back. I'm like, okay, check all day. And at this point, like the writing was on the wall. We had already done the podcast, so people know, but it was like, I woke up Tuesday morning with symptoms, like bad, felt like shit. I had been texted Tuesday afternoon that a friend I got beers with on Friday night was like, I'm positive. And I was like, there's just no way that I don't have it. My Whoop data was very clearly telling me like your respiratory rate is like inconsistent. There's a little bit of an outlier. Like my recovery was horrific, even though my sleep was 100%. And I was like, everything is pointing to, like, there's just no way that I don't have the coronavirus. So then I wake up the next morning at like 7 and I check on my online portal and it says like the test result, like positive, you have coronavirus. Like, okay. And then like 30 minutes later, the lady calls me and she does this whole charade about like, like clearly building up to like the awkward moment where she's going to tell me. And then she's like, okay, so your result came back and like, you came back positive. And I was just like, yeah, I know, I saw online. And she was just like, oh, okay, that's great. I don't have to feel like some horrible person. I was like, no, I just saw online. And then she's like, okay, so it's just 10 days from your first symptom. And then you're free to go, but you got to quarantine until 10 days after your first symptom, 11th day you can leave. And then I was like, that's it? She's like, that's it. And that was the whole thing. Now I was worried not worried, but they're going to do like a huge contact tracing, in which they should. It's good, but it's just like a pain in the ass. But no, they were just like, yeah, you're positive 10 days after your first symptom, and that's it. And then that was the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I've been on this very similar trajectory of Riggs, just like 2 or 3 days later. Our whoops are very similar. The symptoms have been pretty similar. I think I'm coming out the other end of it now, which is, I mean, my symptoms have been mild, which I'm grateful for. It's just been like headache, coughing, just exhausted, things like that. I've just been laying in bed, drinking a lot of water, vitamin C, a lot of zinc, and just, trying to get through it. But like I said, my symptoms have been mild relative to other things. So I'm grateful for that, but it's not great. It's not great having it, I will say.
No, it's not great having it at all. Trent, so your first 2 days were pretty terrible and then you started to get better?
Yeah. So, the first 2 days are like, I just like had no energy and I was coughing a lot and I was sneezing a lot. And then I just did not feel very good at all. And then today feels like the turning point where I feel a little bit better and my whoop is starting to show that I'm feeling a little bit better. And I think as the days go on, I think hopefully I'm through the worst of it.
It's crazy how the whoop just knows, man.
Crazy.
Like last night I had 100% sleep, 91 recovery. Like it knows that I'm fine. And this whole time respiratory rate's been perfect. We were comparing respiratory rates between Trent and I, like his trajectory just shot up the first 2 days he started feeling sick on respiratory and mine just stayed similar. I trust that almost as much as I trust that more than a rapid test. That's how accurate I think whoop is. And it's on your wrist.
Well, I got a rapid when I went in on Friday that came back positive, and then I got a PCR that I still have not gotten my results from. But I knew since the rapid was positive, obviously that's a pretty good indicator that I have it. But then when my whoop shot up my respiratory, that's when I was like, oh, I definitely have it.
You got a negative rapid on Thursday. So like that's just goes to show you have to get like multiple testing. You just can't. They say like a rapid is like a good first indicator, and then you have to get that PCR one, the lab result, because there's just no way of living your life knowing. Like I'm just done with the rapid test. I've gotten so mad at just like how many people in my life have gotten negative tests and then have brought like people have died because of it legitimately, like in my life, because people have gotten negative tests, rapid tests, and they've been able to just live their life. And then they just like never thought, because like why are we going in waiting online for 9 hours, going and doing our civic duty by going and getting tested just to be sure it says negative and then you're actually positive? Like it's a tough fucking situation. So the rapids are a fucking joke.
Sure, yeah, I was rapid. I got a rapid on Thursday, was negative. I got another rapid on Friday because Riggs let us know that he did actually test positive, and that one, my rapid was positive. So I was like, well, what am I at now? I'm one negative, one positive, and then I woke up the next morning and my whoop had gone through the roof, and I was like, all right, well then it's official.
Think about how many people don't do what you did. Like they just get that negative, right. They like go to work and it's like no problem, and they're just infecting every single person. You have no idea where you're going.
It's scary.
That could even be allowed to happen.
Like if they're not, and this is a whole bigger like argument, debate, or whatever, and we don't have to get into it, but like if they're not that fucking accurate, why are we offering them? One guy actually told one of my friends that it's more for peace of mind, the rapid, just to know that like maybe you're negative. Like I could just say that to myself right now without having to sit there and get a fucking swab stuck up my nose. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like just fucking, there should only be one test and it should be accurate. And if that test is impossible to get to, then I'll wait on the line for 24 hours. But don't just like make something more convenient for me. If it's going to make me walk in like a fucking live bullet to a old person home or something.
I was telling somebody about just like the whoop and how it works and like how it shows those things. And they straight up just said like everyone in the world should be wearing one. Like I know that's going to sound like they just straight up should be.
I don't know how it works, man. It's on our wrist. Like
I don't know how it works either, but it's like it just tells you. Like my respiratory shot up and I was like, I have it.
The data is just perfectly in line with having coronavirus. Like it's just perfectly in line. It was the first day that I had a symptom, is the first day I started to see irregularities. And ever since then, as I've gotten a little better, the data from the whoop has stabilized and started to level off. It's like perfectly in line with what's been going on with having the disease. It's amazing because I mean, a year ago almost, maybe 8 months ago or so, we were on here touting how like, yeah, Whoop, our sponsor tells us that they can detect coronavirus 80% of the time. I'm just looking at it. And before, like, I thought like a symptom, okay, it could be the cold, it could be corona. I thought like, okay, I was in contact with somebody. That definitely makes it pretty likely, but maybe it's 50-50, whatever. The second that I saw the Whoop data, I was like, oh, I have it. There's just no, like Whoop is so trusty and on top of it, and their science is so solid the technology is so solid that I just knew there's no way that I don't have it. And sure enough, it's been spot on the entire time.
I think even they have to be a little stunned by how well it detects it. Like they were like, yeah, we've got this fitness band. It's a wearable device. We're going to have guys on tour we're going to wear. It tracks their sleep. It tracks their strain. It's based mostly on heart rate and all that. And then Nick Watney becomes patient zero on the PGA Tour, and they look through all the data, and it says, hey, his respiratory is kind of jumping here. I wonder if that's an indicator. And sure enough, here we are, like you said, Riggs, 8-10 months later, and it is the thing that they've
always known that it tracks like your alcohol intake and what that does to your body. So I feel like that's pretty similar. Like alcohol going into you is like kind of like a poison to your body. Like it tries to fight it off, which is why you have a hangover. Like your body's legitimately trying to fight this thing that's in there, and your liver and the whole thing. So like I feel like they did some sort of, I don't know how on your wrist, but some sort of analysis on what happens to your body as alcohol is going in, because it does shoot up and shoot down as you drink and as you don't. So I feel like that similarity between like, all right, now you're sleeping, you haven't had a drink all day, and all of a sudden your respiratory rate's going up because your body's fighting something off and your heart rate's going up. Like they have a similar trajectory. It's crazy that they figured that out. I don't know how, I don't know why, but thank God for them, because I mean, now the PGA Tour has, every single person has one on, and yeah, it's just fucking cool. It's a really cool product.
Some golf news: the Tournament of Champions out in Hawaii. Harris English, who is a Peter Millar guy, we love Peter Millar. Harris English gets his first win since 2013. He won twice in 2013. Beat Joaquin Niemann in a playoff. Hit some sick shots. His 3-iron that he hit in regulation to like 8 feet, where he then just missed the putt. Thought for sure that was going to be a walk-off eagle. He ends up winning it in the playoff anyways, but he was very emotional afterwards. He talked about how like PGA Tour is pretty much a 1-year contract. So getting a win, you get a couple of years, you get into all the big tournaments or a lot of it. So, so very, very cool for Harris English. Kapalua is always a blast to watch. Like we said last week, it's a nice little ease into the year. You got a lot of pretty big names out there playing. And, you know, and it's fun to watch. It was, you know, you're seeing guys hit 400-yard drives on the 18th hole. You see him sling draws into that green and try to bounce it and land it and catch that ridge. It's just very, very enjoyable to watch the Tournament of Champions every year. I did think that the, this golf media is just the worst when it comes to like, they all couldn't get over the fact that somebody that won the Tournament of Champions didn't actually win a tournament last year, and that like they just kept making the same quip, and it was like no, they changed the rules this year because of the coronavirus, so it's just different. Like that's just
time I turned on the broadcast, they would talk about the expanded field and why it was expanded and like why it was happening. I was like, no, we understand. Like so many other things have changed in such a bigger way than the field at the Tournament of Champions at Kapalua. Like they were just like, yeah. No, I know that some of these guys in the field, because they didn't win, but they expanded it because of the crazy shit that's going on. They kept saying it.
Saw like a tweet. I saw like different variations of this tweet throughout the whole weekend, and especially yesterday. But it was just like pretty amazing that someone who didn't win last year got the W in an event exclusively for people who won last year. It's just like no, they just changed the rules. Like it's because it's.
That would be incredible if they hadn't changed the rules.
Right.
Someone had shown up to the tournament, won it, and then afterwards we all realized, well, now wait a minute, that guy didn't win last year. That's incredible.
It was infuriating. It drove me fucking nuts, but I'm over it. Ultimately, Harris English won. Great dude.
I like that the Bryson show is back. It's good to see him again. I know we go back and forth on him like none other, but just seeing him again, like driving the green on a par 4, 431 yards, like it was nice.
Yeah, he just can't wear clothes. Like clothes don't look normal on him because his body's so preposterous. Like him trying to tuck it in. He's got the thing where like right where his belt buckle is, the shirt's super tightly tucked, but everywhere else it's really loose.
Dude, I don't know if you guys saw his comments about he's been working with Kyle Berkshire, the long drive guy, and he said that they're trying to reset his CNS, which is his central nervous system, and the way that they do that is they work so hard that they come close to blacking out. that he works out so hard and he swings the golf ball or the golf club so hard so many times that he starts to get tunnel vision, and that's how he resets his CNS and he almost blacks out. I mean, maybe it's because we haven't seen him in a little bit and it's just like now he's back and we get another like absurd thing. Him saying that he is training to hit the ball further and the way that he's doing it is almost blacking out is just, it's good to have Bryson back in the news.
They're going to say he comes close to coming at that point. I wouldn't be fucking surprised with this fucking weirdo. He's just a weirdo, dude. He's a weird dude. And I don't know that any of that is even like, do we need to get to that level? I mean, sure. I keep going back and forth on this guy. If he's going to own it and he's going to show up to tournaments and he's going to be like, I just fucking blacked out on this tee box because I hit the ball 415 yards. Yes, I want that. But if he's then going to turn it around and be like, don't film me or don't, and he's going to be like upset about people like putting him into a corner about his brand, like, or he's going to be just a fucking annoying asshole on social media and with questions and interviews, just go all in. Wear a ripped t-shirt, wear a tank top to a fucking golf event with a little collar on it. Do something insane. Like, I want him to be the person that's blacking out, resetting his CNS so he can hit the ball as far as possible. That's so much better than the guy who brings the protractor on the green and tries to like spray water on the ball to reenact the morning dew. That's just such a better brand. Just own it.
The stunning thing is that it went from those comments and they threw it to Brandel in the studio, and Brandel was essentially like, yeah, he's right. If you want to do that, you have to reset your.
Okay, Brandel, like, you know how to reset a fucking central nervous system with a golf. Like, we're talking about a golf swing here. This is crazy.
I mean, obviously Bryson's doing this when he's practicing, when he's swinging over and over and over again. But imagine if he blacked out on the tee one time, like trying to swing so hard. Like
that's what I want. I want that.
That'd be wild.
I want him to pass out. Like, they have to wake him up.
Like, he is hitting the ball unimaginable distances at times. So in order to do that, you have to do unimaginable things. Like, you can't just do what's conventionally been done. Like, otherwise people would just be hitting it that far.
Right. No, I know. I'm saying he should continue to do that. Just like own it. Like, there's just certain times where he just doesn't want to be like that guy. He cares so much more about everything else that people think about him. And I just want him to just own it 100% and he would be my favorite golfer. I think he would overtake Tiger Woods at that point if he was passing out on tee boxes and wearing fucking drinking protein shakes on the golf course.
He's a dork. He's too much of like a weirdo dork. Like, we'll never like him that much. He's too much. He's just not like
his comments, the way he talks about the game,
which are always like at odds with what he is, right? Like him blacking out, like that would be, imagine if the same story was told about Tiger Woods. Like, we'd be coming ourselves.
Oh my God. Like, Tiger was working to reset his CNS, and that there's pictures of him just like laying on the ground, like in a simulator, because he just fucking passed out because he's trying so hard.
You know how many fucking retweets we would have at all?
Oh my God. But when Bryson does it, it's like crazy. When Bryson does it, most of the public's like, that's fucking loser.
Totally.
That's not right. He's doing something wrong. I can't pin the tail on the donkey.
That is so true. If Tiger did it, we'd be all over it.
He's doing something wrong. He's doing a cool thing that everyone just like doesn't find to be cool. So what is it? Right. Is it him? Is it his person? Like, I just don't. Yeah, but like, what can he do? Like, he needs to. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, he can't just become like cool and normal, right? And that's fine. Like, we've said this before. Like, weird is cool. Like, even if he would just embrace being like a weirdo, that'd be great. But he never has. He's always gonna fight it. He wants to be like Brooks Koepka, kind of like considered the cool guy, but like he's just a dork and he's a dweeb and he doesn't like, he's very awkward. He doesn't know how to like interact. He's just weird. And whenever you have that in juxtaposition with him being a total meathead who's blacking out because he's trying to hit the golf ball so far, it just doesn't add up. It's just not appealing. There's like a turnoff to it. There's always going to be a turnoff.
He hits the ball poorly at the Masters. He says he needs to go to a doctor to get it checked out. Something's off. Like, come on, dude. Like, we don't need that. Like, that's the Bryson that we just don't like. So yeah, he's got something so cool and so unique and so riveting, and he just is not utilizing it to the way he should. And it's a shame.
Other news, Justin Thomas dropped a hard F-bomb. He was
Hard.
he's always in the mix of this thing. He was a defending champion. Thought he was still going to get the W yesterday. But he missed a putt on Saturday during Saturday's round, dropped a very hard F-bomb that was caught on camera, a slur. Can't do that. Very, very wrong, obviously. He was very embarrassed. I will say Brandel Chambly came on and said, that he was moved by JT's apology. There's really nothing else you can do at that point other than apologize. He apologized multiple times. He was on with Todd Lewis after Sunday's round. Todd Lewis asked him, how was it out there? Were you distracted? And JT said, yep, like golf wasn't the biggest thing on my mind. Obviously, I feel terrible about what I said. I can't fix it, but like I really want to apologize. I feel awful. Our buddy, Eamon Lynch, who we fucking love, who's one of the funniest people on planet Earth and one of the great wordsmiths of all time, writes for Golf Week. He's on Golf Channel a good amount now. I'm glad to see with kind of the reshuffling at Golf Channel that he's on there with Brandel, sparring with him quite a bit. The two of them are very, very good buddies. I've been to the bar with them before, and they do the same thing all night long. They're absolutely hilarious. Eamon Lynch has written before about being a homosexual in the golf world. And his response, I thought, was spot on. We had a guy, Robert, tweeted at him and said, Justin Thomas uttered basically the same slur as Patrick Reed. Is this now a golf problem and not an individual issue? Or is this simply an example of the culture they grew up around? What are your thoughts? And Eamon responded, a little bit of both. It's easy to demean that which you don't see every day. Product of the broad sameness of golf in which everyone looks, thinks, acts, votes, loves like you. He owned it though. None of us would fare well if defined by what we say in anger on the golf course. So I thought that line, none of us would fare well if defined by what we say in anger on the golf course, coming from Eamon, was pretty spot on in the sense, like judging somebody solely by what comes out of their mouth when you're upset on the golf course. Like if I was defined by what's come out of my mouth when I'm upset on the golf course, like I'd be in fucking prison right now.
Right.
So I thought that line, nobody's forgetting it. Terrible. It's a bad thing. JT's going to have to kind of own up to that for a long time and get over that. But I thought that was a good comment.
Yeah, what Eamon Lynch said is true to a degree. Saying that's like, I feel like I say fuck. I feel like fuck, I fucking missed that. But like, so it's just a whole kind of goes to a different level when you say a word like that. And also, Justin Thomas should not have said that. But it's also, this has been the internet's at its worst. On one side, people never want him to make any money ever again. They want him thrown in jail, thrown in prison for what he said. And then the other side, they are like, it's just a word. Don't worry about it. Stop being snowflakes. Like both of those groups are wrong in my opinion. It's somewhere in the middle. Like that's, I don't know. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around, but it's just like, he shouldn't have said it, but also the reaction to him saying it is always wrong on either end.
Yeah, it's a tough moment for him. Obviously, everyone gets heated on the golf course, and you can't say that. And I do agree with Eamon is that like it probably is a combination of both, like the culture wherever he's surrounded by, and just being mad on the golf course. Like we all are in different situations where we all just like know or have trigger words that we know not to say, maybe because it hits home or whatever. Like my sister's gay, so like I would never. I'm not homophobic in the slightest. Like I would never even think to really say that, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't come out, and that's honestly like adapted over time. Like I learned that in my house. Like that's something that I learned. So like, I feel like, if there's certain words that I may say on the golf course that would offend other people when I'm fucking mad at myself, like who knows? Like if you say like, I'm going to fucking kill myself or something, that's going to offend a lot of people that dealt with that in their personal life. And we all say shit like that on the golf course. So I mean, it's a really, really tough thing that happened because it got picked up on a microphone. I bet if he had the chance to go back a billion times, he wouldn't say that one word. But also, to your point, Trent, like cancel culture just can't, you can't allow someone to make a mistake and then not, like, if everyone just did that every time someone made a mistake in life, we would have no people left in the world. And Erica Nardini talks about this all the time. Cancel culture can't exist because you're not allowing people to then learn from their mistakes and become better people. You can't. Right. You can't just be like, you made a mistake, you're done. That's just not how it works. It doesn't work in any other facet of life. Like if you go to jail or something, at least they still let you come out after you've learned your fucking mistake, unless you did something really bad.
Rehabilitated?
you need to be able to learn from your mistakes. You can't just be like, hey, Justin Thomas, you made this one mistake for 1 second in your life, and you are now no longer allowed to make any money, even though you're like the best golfer in the world. That is just unacceptable. Like, he has to own up to it, which he did, and he has to learn from his mistakes. He will become a better person off of this. He will never say that again. I'll tell you that. He's never going to use that word ever again. So, I mean, like, listen, we need these moments. You need teaching lessons. You need to be able to learn. He's also fucking 27 years old. Like, he's probably never gotten in trouble like this or anything in his entire life. This is like a huge moment for him to be like, oh, I'm a fucking immature asshole, and I need to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you need that moment. He needs that slap across the face. Be like, dude, like, don't say those words. Let's go. Like, be a fucking,
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I think we're all on the same page about it. Like you said, cancel culture, it doesn't work. People need to be able to, atone for their sins, learn from their mistakes, second chances. We all believe in second chances. Nobody's perfect. Everybody gets that. So yeah, JT should be condemned for it. It's not good. You can't say that. Feel terrible for those who were offended by it. Hopefully he does learn from it, becomes a better person, doesn't say things like that. And I think that we covered it as well as we can. Other news, PGA of America votes to terminate contract with Trump Bedminster for 2022. We're not going to get into politics, but it'll be very interesting to see.
Let's get into politics. Let's talk about it. Let's fucking talk about it.
It will be quite interesting to see where the tournament ends up going. If they keep it in the Northeast, if they keep it in the Jersey area, if they go, I heard Southern Hills is up there as a potential. That's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I saw Liberty National was floated as an option. They're having a PGA Tour event this year, the Northern Trust. That's right in our backyard. So we'll see. We'll see where they decide to go with it. I can't imagine that's, for obviously anyone like optics wise, like, oh, how do they not do this a long time ago? But like, people get to these venues years and years in advance and work full time there to build out all the logistics and all the operations. So just moving a venue isn't as easy as people probably think. But PGA of America, they voted, I think it was Sunday night that it broke, to kind of terminate that contract, pick a different venue. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for what that venue will be. And other than that, I think we're about ready to get to the TaylorMade recap. It is more important than ever, ladies and gentlemen, to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. Trust me, I would love to be outside enjoying the outdoors right now. It's been a week. I still got about a week to go. Now there's a great way to do that, to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. That is with a Rad Power bike, a fantastic way to get hot, get sweaty, have tons of fun, a cross between a traditional bike and a moped, but it does not require a special driver's license like a moped would. You go up to 20 miles per hour without pedaling, so you get out and about without getting sweaty. Rad Power bikes are affordable, so you're not going to get sweaty, which is nice. I don't want to get sweaty. I'm not trying to be Lance Armstrong. I'm not trying to be Lance Armstrong out here. I'm not trying to get sweaty and like bike, mountain bike or going up it. No, I'm just trying to chill and have a good time. Rad Power bikes are affordable. Most e-bikes are in the $3,000 range. Rad Power bikes start at just $999, and most are under $1,500. Great for commuting, getting out on the trail, hauling groceries, or even transporting your kids on the back. Now, for a limited, Rad Power bikes offer flexible financing for as low as 0% APR plus free shipping. Bikes are going super fast, so make sure you order right away. That's right, they are going super fast. Text golf to 64,000 today and get free shipping. Just text golf, GOLF, to 64,000 today. You're going to get free shipping. That's golf to 64,000. Rad Power bikes, these things are great. Like I said, a lot of them might cost $3,000. You can get one for as low as $999. Most are under $1,500. Text golf to 64,000 and you're going to get free shipping. So get involved. Okay, here's our recap from our day with the TaylorMade team.
Folks, this is the whole crew. We are coming to you live. We got myself, we got Trent, we got Frankie, we got Lurch. We got our producers, as always, who are running around all day today, Jake and Brendan. Big thanks to those guys. But we are coming to you today. When you are listening to this, and this has not been one of our specialties, but when you are listening to this, it will be early 2021. When we record this, we're going to call this late 2020. we did a full day today in Jupiter, Florida, filming with, I believe, 7 different people, hitting golf shots, and mingling with our fellow TaylorMade golf athletes. So we're going to kind of recap the whole day. This just happened. We got up at about 5 a.m. this morning. We filmed until pretty much sunset, maybe about 3:30. It was all day. It was nonstop. And the way that this whole thing really went down, and there's a lot to talk about because we had Dustin Johnson, we had Tommy Fleetwood, we had Matthew Wolff, we had Colin Morikawa. DJ, by the way, he won the Masters, I think, 9 days ago when we're recording this podcast. So things are happening, and it's been a crazy day for us, and we're recording this, and we're not able to put it out until now because of new product launch. NDAs were extremely important people, so they make us sign this stuff, which is fucking wild. But we had a hell of a day today. And really, the way that this went down is, yes, we are now partnered up with TaylorMade. We're rocking their gear. We are clearly going to be proponents of their stuff. But I think, like, before we even hit record here, guys were just going on and on and on and on behind the scenes about how obsessed we are with the new equipment, how awesome it was, how well we hit it today, how well Frankie played today. So there's a lot to get to. But essentially, they came to us and said, okay, we do a gigantic shoot. You guys are going to have 60 minutes with Tommy Fleetwood, 15 minutes with Maria Fassi, 60 minutes with Matthew Wolff, 60 minutes with Colin Morikawa, with Dustin Johnson, with Doc Redman, with Harry Higgs, and you get to film whatever you would like to really film within reason. And we just did all of that. It was really, really fun. I want to start out by saying that Frankie Borelli, never have I ever seen you play as well as you played today. I was making little comments to you throughout the day that I felt bad for you because I believe if you took the game and the clubs and the setup that you had today to the actual golf course, you would absolutely have career loaded. Now, we talk all the time about you getting shit from the handicap police, posting scores on video that are higher than obviously you would like them to be, than anybody would like them to be, yet saying, hey, I put my numbers into the handicap system. Here's what I am. I go out and I shoot an 80 sometimes or an 83 with the boys at a tough course. Today, you silenced any critics I've ever seen in my entire life. You played like a fucking god today. It was crazy town.
That's very nice of you guys. I think it's been a long time coming for me to show that I do have some skill when it comes to the game of golf. I can't always piece it together. Usually when I'm on video, I am very nervous. I'm neurotic. I've shot hundreds. I've shot 110s. No one's ever seen me piece it together. And to be fair, what I did today wasn't really a golf, a display of like a golf, like an actual round of golf, because we kept playing the same hole and I was pretty comfortable on it. But the facts are the facts, and I was striping these TaylorMade, and what's crazy is, like, we can talk about these fucking clubs and act like they're like a sponsor, and like we have to talk about how good they are and how they're changing our game, blah 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 blah. What we saw today, from the difference between what I played on Saturday 2 days ago, I don't even want to say the name of the clubs I used to be playing. What I experienced today was out of body. I mean, we played against the best players in the world, and I was in their face dropping eagles on par fives, like 320-yard drive, an 8-iron to 10 feet, a buttery little fucking putt that just finds the middle of the pit. It was like, I mean, guys were legitimately coming up to me being like, what the fuck's going on? Like, Matthew Wolff said, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what handicap are you? Dustin Johnson's like, you're stroking it pretty good today. It's like, what is happening over here in Frankie Borelli land? I was getting, stymie. Literally, Tiger Woods' agent was like, what the fuck are you doing today? Like, he's like, I was like, you going to sign me or what? He's like, you're close. You're actually close right now from what I just saw on this hole. Because you hit a 320-yard draw right down the middle. Then you stuck a 7-iron to 10 feet on a par 5. What are you doing? And, like, how do we fix this? So, thank you to TaylorMade. This has been a hell of an experience today. We're going to get into all the fucking interactions and who we played and how we played it. But, man, I felt good. They had to basically I was scratching and clawing my way off the golf course. They're like, you guys are done. Like, you can no longer hit golf balls. And I just wanted to keep going because I don't think I hit a shot all day. It was a miracle day. It was a miracle day.
No,
yeah,
I don't think.
John, just a big tease too from TaylorMade. Like, so we get here, we get this bag of clubs. It's TaylorMade bag, it's TaylorMade tees, TaylorMade gloves, and then I've got the P770 irons. You guys have the P790s. We have the Sim 2 from the hybrids to the 3-woods to the drivers with the blue on it, how sexy those things are, and they're fitted from our specs. We're eventually going to actually go to the Kingdom and do the whole fitting, but from the specs that we have, prior, they're fitted and they're good to go, and we all hit them great. We're all jacked up. And then, because of the fact that the product doesn't launch when we're recording this until next year, until January, we have to take those drivers back. And it was seeing Frankie, I felt awful for you. We were returning these clubs that just made you it was like in Limitless, like when he loses his pills, when he runs out of his supply of pills, when he goes from just this average schmo to this unstoppable force who's a genius, who's a finance savant. And that was like they just took your power from you at the end of the day, and I felt very sad for you, Frankie.
I thought Frankie was going to steal the club. I thought he was going to steal the driver, and then the deal was just going to be off, but Frankie was going to be like, well, I like this club so much that I don't even care. Like, I'm hitting the ball so well with these clubs that even if the deal falls through now that I've stolen this club, I don't care. Luckily, he did not do that, at least to my knowledge, but he definitely thought about stealing the driver.
Dude, Trent was my cart mate today, and there were times where even off camera we just started giggling. Like, I think it was on one of the there was a 3-hole stretch where I hit the green in 3 times in a row on a par 5. It was a downwind, like 500-yard par 5. So it's a little bit shorter, but you still have to crank a couple out there. And I looked at Trent saying all right, no, what the fuck?
That's underselling it. Like, you were flying sticks. You weren't just hitting greens. You were literally flying the flag stick by 4.5 to 5 feet. And you had back-to-back holes where you did that. And you had, a 12-footer coming back for eagle. And you buried him. I thought it was going to be a Frankie freakout of keeping that driver. I thought it had to be a mental patient leaving. You have the cure to your disease. And now they're just taking it back away. I thought you were going to freak out and not give that back.
Something to the fact that, and I just talked to you about this in the hallway, but, I used to have this other company, and the driver was very round, and I loved it. I loved that other driver. I thought it was great. It was my first love of a new driver, I thought. I never really had, gotten fitted and the whole thing. So I thought when we first got that, holy shit, this is it. This is the only thing I ever need for the rest of my life. And then all of a sudden, they just hand me this new Sim 2. Is that what it's called?
Yep, Sim 2. So sweet.
And something about the way it's manufactured, where it's not so round, but it's more almost looks like a jet engine. And you're like, all right, everything is built for this ball to be hit on the center of the face, and it lets you know how to get there. It's it's manufactured in a way that it's going to cut through the wind. The other driver that I had almost felt all right, figure it out. There's this round piece of metal, and if you get it on the center of the club face, you're lucky, it'll be good. But for the average regular player, no chance you're gonna hit this well. And I think I got used to that, and I started conforming my swing. Now it's they hand me this Sim 2. I was swinging more freely today than I've ever swung in my entire life with confidence. I mean, there's parts in the videos, and I don't know when this is coming out. Obviously, the video is gonna be coming out. But Dustin Johnson was standing right behind me, and into the microphone, I'm like, you guys at home have no clue what it feels like to be up here right now as Dustin Johnson's watching us hit drivers, and trying to beat him on a hole. And then I just was just swing. You have a Sim 2 and you've hit 5 fairways today, and it just went straight. There was no movement left or right. I've never had that kind of confidence in my job, and everyone hit good drives. Trent didn't miss a fairway today. I think he missed 1 or 2, and you must have taken 10 swings. It was very, very good showing by TaylorMade. I think they have to be very happy with the way their club showed up for us today.
Yeah, I started hitting the ball straight. I never hit the ball straight. If anybody has watched any of our videos, I never hit the ball straight. And it actually works out. It has worked out for the most part because I know that and I plan for it. But today, after my first drive with the Sim 2 and I hit it straight, I just started aiming straight and the ball went straight and it went pretty far. And that does not happen to me. It never happens to me. It was awesome. It felt great. Hitting the ball straight is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've never seen that ball flight from you, Trent, off the tee. You were not hitting your cut, which, again, you controlled the cut, but you lost a lot of yardage with it. Today, you were hitting drives out there, and your misses were totally fine. We had some bunkers that were kind of in the way. You were hitting it past those bunkers quite a bit and several different times. I also thought, your irons and your 3-wood off the fairway, I've just never seen you hit the ball that way. Now, for me, I've had the P770s for about a month or so, and I've been telling people, and I was telling Lurch today, because Lurch, you've had the rocket ball things or something for a long time.
I've had the rocket blades, and yeah, today felt like a classic case of like the arrow or the Indian in terms of like talent level and what works. But I've had the rocket blades from TaylorMade for probably the last 10 years, maybe something like that. It was the first set of irons that I bought out of college. I loved them. Iron play is my best, so I'm hesitant to move on to the irons, and we'll probably switch to the iron topic in a second. But I love these things. I mean, they're player look irons, but they still have that like give that I need in terms of like your weekend kind of golfer that can hit it pretty good to just smack it at greens. I mean, I picked it up. I was like, this thing's a thing of beauty. It's honestly a piece of artwork. The design and the creation of it is art. Like they said they had 10 sound engineers for their driver. They're thinking about what it sounds like, that they're hiring 10 sound engineers for just their driver alone. But when you put the iron on the ground and you look at it, it bodes that confidence. And people say confidence over the ball is everything. It's just like, if I could be half as clean and good looking as this iron, like I'm going to put it within 10 feet.
Yeah, that was Kyle Morikawa was, from his video, which people will see, already have seen. We don't know. We can't handle the future. But his big thing, and he was sort of grilling Frankie on it, was like, why aren't you just confident over every shot? He's like, who cares if you hit the bad shot? Like, why are you thinking about the fact that you could skull it, or you could thin it, or when you're off the tee that you could slice it or you could hook it? He's like, why are you thinking about that? Who cares? Nobody cares where your ball goes. Nobody on earth cares where your ball goes. Everyone's just focused on their shot, on their score, on what's happening to them in the match. Nobody cares where your ball goes. So why aren't you just confident that it's going to do what you've done with it many, many times before? And you're right. And that, like, if on the engineering level, they can build things into the clubs that deliver and handle and help that confidence, it goes so far. And we saw that today. The irons, our last set of irons, and we all played pretty similar ones from the last one too, were something that I was like, yeah, these are solid, but I never was obsessed with them. I never thought it made my game like much better or noticeably different. These, the second I put them, like a club and a half longer. My misses are extremely consistent with even my good ones in terms of how far that they go and how far off line. Like, they stay pretty much on line, even if you toe it a little or if you heel it a little bit. And they're just significantly better while still looking like a player's iron. They look like blades, like you can hit these like crafty shots, even though you might not be able to. It gives you that confidence. And when you pure them, they penetrate, but also like still get up in the air and land. So it's just like, they're awesome. And that's not even talking about, like you guys mentioned, the driver and the twist. It has the twist face technology. It's got the added little layer now in the back, which launches it higher. And it's just like, they just figured it out. They have 10 sound engineers, for fuck's sake. Of course they figured it out.
Crazy. When he put the driver head together in front of us, because it's only, I think, 4 main pieces, but he put it together. It's so simplistic, yet so well thought out and so impressive. They're like, his first line to us was like, oh, you guys could put it together. And all of us were like, dude, we obviously couldn't make a driver put this thing together at all. But then what they do when they build it, they inject whatever that MOI helpful hint that it, puts into the driver face to help that twist face and just improve. And they test every driver that goes out to make sure that the face is properly milled, the weight is correct. They put enough whatever jelly in there to make sure that it like hits the ball pure. And Trent laughs. Didn't he call it jelly? What did he call it? Do you remember what he called it?
At some point this was going to come up, and I knew at some point we were going to hit a wall in terms of terminology. Like, this shit is so cool, and it was, and they taught us all about it. And he did put the driver together in front of us. But did he call it resin?
He might have. I forget. I think I said that to Harry Higgs too. To Harry Higgs, I go, yeah, look, it says like positive MOI and low spin. And Harry Higgs goes, yeah, like whatever, technology.
Dude,
like, it just feels good, but I don't know what that is.
Dude, there was a couple times with Morikawa. Well, one time Morikawa was like telling someone something, and he caught me like I was in and this was in the video, but like he caught me like I was in high school and I just wasn't paying attention to the teacher. Where he's like, Frankie, like, did you hear what I just said? And I was like, yeah, like 100%. But I just didn't hear a thing that he said. And then another thing, that same thing like what you said with Higgs, you said something to Morikawa where you're like, so like, because we were talking about bounce. You're like, so like, what's like
Oh
the
God.
word,
Yep.
what's
I
the
got
other word
one.
for like opposite of bounce? He's like there's just not like I don't know. You just have like lie, like you have slope, you have like angle, like.
No, but then he said, I think grind. What was the word? It was
He
bounce.
feel like, yeah, I just like don't like I don't know, just bounce. Like, so like, what would the opposite of bounce be? He's like, I just like just no bounce, like there's like no bounce.
Yeah, I
Like,
go.
bounce.
I
You're
asked
like,
the.
fair.
Yeah, I go. I asked the question I know nothing about, so I'm just gonna leave this question and pretend that I
You're just like
never.
less bounce, I guess, would be like the opposite.
Yeah.
Just like
They're
higher.
really still are those moments as much as we've interacted with world famous golfers where there will be like a couple seconds of dead time where you just want to bring something up and it's a miss and you're like, all right, well, never mind then. But like for the most part, it goes very smoothly. But for moments like that where it's like, what's the opposite of bounce? And they're like, what have I gotten myself into?
That's what I do on this podcast every single time we talk into this fucking microphone. I don't know what like sometimes I like want to say what I want to say. I just don't know the terminology or don't know what the fuck I'm actually talking about. And I'm on a fucking my own planet. That's how we feel around these guys that actually know how to break down the swing. Like I asked DJ, like, is it okay that I'm like sweeping? He's like, well, you hit like a 4-iron 210 yards. So like, you don't really want to like take divots. I was just like, I don't know, man. I just tried to make conversation. Like, I know that it was probably dumb. He's like, yeah, you want to like sweep it, like you don't take grass in this far. I was like, okay, fine, like, whatever. Just move on. Just trying to make conversation.
Folks, we spoke a good amount about Whoop and how just on the ball it was with our diagnosis, with what we're currently experiencing, our bodies, our respiratory rates, all of that. Whoop's the best. It also monitors, your sleep, optimizes your performance of your body. So even if it's not necessarily for detecting deadly diseases that are ravaging the planet, it also could be used, like I said, to make you a better athlete. PGA Tour, they have done, I believe it's a 5-year deal where Whoop is the official wearable, the official fitness band of the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour champions. So a huge deal from them. The entire PGA Tour folks, you will see that they are wearing these. A lot of them have been already. JT's talked about it for a long, long time, but Whoop's the best. And again, it monitors your sleep, it monitors your recovery. It's very fascinating to check in on your body, see how it's doing, see if, the way that you're feeling matches up with the data that's coming from your actual body. A lot of times it actually does. You can get 15% off right now with the code FOREPLAY at checkout. They're offering 15% off. You go to whoop.com, WHOOP.com, enter FOREPLAY at checkout, get yourself 15% off. Can't recommend these things enough. You get the fitness wearable, you get the app, you sign yourself up, and then boom, you have access to all of this data on how your body's doing. You're going to be obsessed with it like we are. Whoop.com, code FOREPLAY at checkout. You get yourself 15% off.
Fleetwood out of the gate this morning, he was hitting obviously we did a little sand shots with him, bunker shots and whatnot. And he knew exactly who he was talking to because at one point he just kind of like sped up over stuff. He's like, well, I'm not going to go into like all the details and the terminology because I don't think that's going to land well. We were like, good job.
Perfect.
Triangle of love though for him. I think he's going to take that.
Could we go through like just real quick, like Riggs or someone rattle off exactly what we did with each person, just in case? Like I don't know when these videos are coming out, when they have come out, but like just to kind of tease it. Is that what we want to do?
We don't want to spoil the endings, do we? Again, we're living in the future, we're living in the past. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
We can't.
No, like once each one of these videos comes out in real time and we know people have watched them, we can kind of break down the results and we'll be able to relive some of the shots, which will actually be a fun exercise because we won't remember all the details once we watch them. But yeah, so essentially, we put our little pea brains together, the brainchild of Foreplay, and we came up with some creative ideas to try to maximize the value of our time with these guys. And we first had Tommy Fleetwood. So Tommy Fleetwood, we have a little bit of a history. Things were, we weren't really sure how it was going to go. We chatted with him for, 2 or 3 minutes at the U.S. Open off the 18th green at Pebble Beach last year. And there was much talk at Barstool Sports among Dave, among our team, like Tommy Fleetwood, when you see that guy, he just fucks. That guy fucks. Then Frankie said to him, like, what'd you say? You fuck, don't you? Or do you
man,
fuck?
like you just fuck, don't you? Like you fuck on the course, you fuck off the course. Like you just are a guy who fucks. And he was just like, all right. Like And it's just, I remember Whitney was with us. Ryan Whitney was with us at the US Open, and you just hear him go, "I can't believe he just fucking said that!" Like, like way down the fairway, being like, "Holy shit!" It was that was a tough moment. I never thought we'd ever rekindle our relationship with Tommy Fleetwood, but he came. He was at 8:00 in the morning, our first TaylorMade athlete. And by the way, welcome to TaylorMade. Like, he's like just a brand new TaylorMade athlete. While we're saying this right now, but no one else in the world knows that he's going to be a TaylorMade athlete, which is pretty freaking cool.
That's true.
It's weird to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good point, Frankie. Holy cow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, he was a really good introduction to what the day was going to be, I thought, because I thought it started out pretty exactly the way we wanted it. Like, we had planned, we want to learn, we want to see how much better they are than us, and then we want to challenge them. And that's exactly like the structure that we set out with Tommy. Like, he taught us about his bunker game. He watched us play our bunker game. He fixed some stuff. We got to see how good he is. I mean, I ended up chipping it out of the bunker and splashing it closer than him, which was kind of crazy. But we just like saw how good he was. We gave him tough shots and crazy lies. He was phenomenal out of the sand. It's crazy. And then we played him in the challenge. So yeah, it was a really good start to the day. Hit us real hard at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah, and look, like, we're nervous, right? Like, this is a huge day for us. This is such an opportunity. So, like, for me, I'm whenever I'm nervous or we got something big coming up, I'm a morning person, so I just get up early as hell. So I was up at like 4 a.m. just writing outlines and shit to make sure that, like, we can't blow this. Like, this is a huge chance. And you don't know. Like, Tommy Fleetwood, we had that history. We don't know. DJ, we've never interacted with. Matthew Wolf, we've never really interacted with. Colin Morikawa, we've had him on the show twice. We never talked to him in person. Like, Harry Higgs, we've never interacted with. So now we're going to go and have these people for an hour. And it's like, are we good enough to, like, create this kind of, so it's we're nervous and you're stressed and you want to make sure it goes well. Probably similar if somebody else has a presentation at work or whatever the hell it might be. It's like, there's stress, there's nerve levels involved. Tommy Fleetwood could not have started us off on a better foot, like Frankie's saying, where he was cool, he was chirpy, he gave us the lesson, the bunker lesson. We went through difficult shots, he nailed those. We actually kind of set the tone for the day for us, where, like, we were all significantly better out of the bunker than I thought we were going to be. And Tommy was like, "I thought you guys said that you suck." And then, our second phase of our time with these guys was we wanted to do a one club challenge. We wanted to say, hey, pick a club, pick the club that you think would be most embarrassing for us to lose to. We're going to go back to this tee, and you can only play this hole, this par 5 that's 510 yards, whatever it was, with one club, and let's do it. And I will say that began by me flying the drone into the sky and trying to get a cool circular shot of the drone, like, peeling away from the tee while Tommy Fleetwood's teeing off, and I just ran it right into a fucking tree. And to this moment, it is still in that tree about 40 feet above sea level here in the Jupiter, Florida area.
Wait, hold on. Did they not get it out of the tree?
No.
Not to my knowledge.
Dude, it's so far. You need like a fucking fire engine truck. You need like a fire truck out
You need Superman to get that fucking drone. It's just up.
Dude,
It's the highest one. Sorry.
This podcast probably comes out in January. It's probably still there.
Well, it's at the highest point of the tree, and there's also this like low shrub below the tree. So there's just, you can't get a ladder up there. If you were to knock it down with a stick or a ball, it would actually just fall in the shrub, and you'd never get it at that point. So, I mean, by all well purposes, it's just gone. It's just gone forever.
That really was, that's the Barstool difference. We finally get time with, the most famous golfers in the world. It's exciting. It's going really well. At that point, it was going really well, like Riggs was saying. We did the bunker stuff. He taught us a bunch of things. Now we're so friendly. We're going to go play this hole, the one club challenge. Tommy Fleetwood is putting his tee in the ground, and all you hear is and it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
And then it's like spinning. The propellers kept spinning in the tree, so it's like for like 30 seconds, and he just steps off, and it's just like, Jesus. And and it was tough. Luckily, Frankie had his drone, the same drone. He was able to go get it after the Tommy shoot, and we sort of powered right through. And the Tommy challenge video went extremely well. So he was awesome.
For the record, for those listening, he definitely does not remember the "you fuck" conversation. Do we all agree on that?
So I think that he, dude,
I think he kind of did.
he knows so much about Barstool because as we were leaving, he's like, you guys have really blown up recently. All your success has been like awesome to watch, like how
Yeah.
quickly it's grown. Like he definitely knows what Barstool is. And for that, he knows it on a level that he knows like how fast it's taken off. And he knows like about, I think he even like nodded when Riggs was talking about like how we got bought by Penn and all this stuff. Like he knew a lot to the point where I think that he remembers doing something in his life with Barstool. And it was such a preposterous interview.
That you can't forget. You can't
You have
forget
to.
that those are the guys that said, like, you fuck, don't you, at the U.S. Open. Like,
I also walked into the Woods bar and grill last night just randomly. And of course, the first person I sit down next to is Tommy Fleetwood and his buddy. So I just said a quick hello, like, hey, we're hitting balls tomorrow at 8 a.m. Like, look forward to it. Enjoy the night, whatever. And on we go. And like when I said we're from Barstool, he kind of gave me a look, which to my thought was like, oh, it was kind of a little bit weird. I wonder if he kind of remembers what Frankie said because I was awkward. And then to the point of, does he know about Barstool? Like he left to go to a back room and probably, eat steaks with, the cool TaylorMade guys or whatever. And his buddy stuck around and was like, oh, you're from Barstool or whatever. And he spoke and he was like, oh, you're foreplay guys. Like, oh, I've listened once or twice. Like, love what you guys are doing. So I think there is more overlap there than, maybe that we might give it credit for, but he was certainly in the know. But I do think these like top level guys to me remember everything like in one facet or another. And I think if you get asked a question, by the way, of Tommy, you must fuck, like you just remember that. Like now that you've had thousands of interviews, you've been on bad sports teams and good ones, you remember highlights, and that's a highlight for anybody if they get asked that question.
Sounds a little weird me saying it about ourselves, but I don't even think I've told you guys this. I think I told Trent, but when I was driving to get some more water, it was right after Fleetwood finished, and we were kind of driving behind him, and like I ran into this little area that everyone was stationed in, which is hilarious when we first got there. Like everyone's just in this TaylorMade like room. Like it was our first introduction to what this day was gonna be. It was like 6:30 in the morning. And it was just like Rory, Ricky, fucking everyone was just in this room just chatting. It was nuts. But we were walking towards there and someone's like all good? And he goes, yeah, those guys are great. Like that was awesome. Like, and that was his first thing he did all day. So that was really cool to hear from Tommy. I think he was a big fan of like just getting a little bit like unorthodox way of like showing his talents.
Right, because for those people that don't know, like we're definitely – and I say this in an endearing way, we're the clowns at this TaylorMade event. Like, it's they're shooting commercials for the year, they're taking pictures, they're doing very professional TaylorMade things, and then they come to our hole, and it's like, all right, what do you guys want me to do? So it's definitely a different part of their day, and I think they appreciate that. Tommy certainly seems like he –
Also, I want to say this, like, for anyone that's going to end up watching these videos and be like, oh, the foreplay guys, and they had the best golfers in the world and they like did all this weird shit. Well, like that's like what we do, and it really showed how much more fun they had at our station. They had like 10 different stations where like at one station they had to hit a draw around a tree, another station they had to hit a fade around a tree, another station they had to hit a long drive, but like let's see how fucking Colin Morikawa can hit a 60-degree wedge off a tee. Like, is he that good to be able to make a 5 on a par 5 with just a 60-degree? Like that's the level of that's like our level of when I'm in my group chat with my buddies. You think DJ could beat you lefty, and you get in these arguments and fucking crazy. We bring that to life with this stuff. So I thought today was such a cool moment to show that like golf doesn't have to be about perfect fucking X's and O's and all the biggest swings and all the crazy stuff. I think you really can see. I think the stuff that we do is almost more impressive than just seeing a drive right down the middle. Like watching guys try and blade like 9 irons to 200 yards is like the coolest thing ever. To do that with like actual skill is crazy.
Golf can just be fun too. Like it doesn't always have to be a tight draw around the trees that covers over wall. Like that's obviously impressive, but you can just play games with your buddies and like and that's, yeah, I think we bring different things to life, but that's certainly one of them. And golf shouldn't be just, oh, I got to hit this high cut and keep it 20 feet above the ground so it checks up and cuts. Like that's just not fun.
And look, like I think it was incredibly clear how just kind of how effective and how, it was almost like reaffirming of what we do when we were with DJ. Like Dustin Johnson has literally, like I said, 9 days ago, won the Masters. He's now a 2-time major winner. He's been on an absolute tear over this past year. And here he was with us. And when we presented a challenge and he knew it was a competition, He knew that these 4 guys wanted to beat him. He was all in on defeating us, down to taking out the pin for us and like standing there like Tiger did against Molinari in the Masters, where he's like kind of right in our grill. He was chirpy when guys would hit bad shots. He'd be like, I found my pigeon. Like, he was into it and wanted to absolutely win. That was the only thing that mattered to him, was like, okay, this is the deal. You're giving me this club or you're playing me lefty. Fine. This is all I care about now is winning. And, you know, when we got to the green, like I'll never forget when we got to the green, when we were playing Dustin Johnson lefty, and he literally had to play left-handed, and we get to the green and we're all trying to figure out like what everybody lies, and he just rattled off immediately like, that guy's out. You can't make a better score than me. He's putting for 4. He's putting for 5. He's putting for 5. I'm putting for 4, and I'm probably going to make it, but worst case, I make 5. He knew like exactly what was going on because he was locked in on the competition. Like, getting these guys in that scenario, it's exactly like, you know, one of your buddies after a round of golf being like, hey, there's the chipping green over there. Let's go have a 9-hole chipping competition. The first hole is to that front right pin. Everyone's like, perfect. What's on the line? Who's my teammate? Like, what are we doing? And it's just like such a relatable thing, yet we're trying to basically drag like their talent level, someone of their talent level, DJ is the number 1 ranked player in the world, to our level and have that type of like buddies interaction. In order to do that, you might have to take 13 clubs out of their bag, or you might have to make them literally play opposite hand. And I think that they really enjoyed it. So, you know, we moved right into Maria Fassi was the second one that we had. She's second. I believe this year she's second in driving distance on the LPGA Tour. I think last year she was third, over 280-yard average, which for us, that's a pretty good drive. We were playing a downwind par 5 where if you really hit a good drive, it hit a downslope and a speed slot and went further than most of us would actually hit a drive. Frankie just kept finding that speed slot every time. Regardless, she stepped up and she was hitting the ball damn well. I don't want to give away the results. We only had 15 minutes with her. She was super cool. She was chill. We were talking about the Augusta Amateur when her and Jennifer Kupcho went at it, you know, down the stretch. She ended up, Maria Fassi ended up finishing runner-up, but like we were talking all about that. She was telling us conversations that the two of them have had since. And watching her strike the ball in person, I mean, she absolutely roasts her driver, which it was just, I don't want to say stunning, but it was very much like, okay, this is the real deal, and she can pipe the golf ball.
Yeah, it's amazing when like a talented swinger hits the golf ball, how effortless it looks and how like beautiful it looks. Like, she has a beautiful swing. Rory has a beautiful and it doesn't look like aggressive at all. The ball just completely takes off the club face. And there was a road to the right of the 13th hole, which we were playing. And I was kind of hitting like balls down the left-hand side because I'm just deathly afraid of just missing it right and goes on the road. But she took 2 beautiful drives like that drew off the right-hand side back down and hit that speed slot left. It was just really impressive to see her hit the ball. She hits a great golf ball.
Yeah, she hits it extremely well. Then we got right into Matthew Wolf. We'd never really done anything with him before. And we were doing pretty much like long, I don't even want to say long irons, what would be a long-ish iron, but it was around 200 yards. We were playing at 190, something along those lines. We were just kind of out there hitting and talking through his ability to hit iron shots. His ball striking is fantastic. As you know, he's got a very unique swing. Frankie has said some stuff about his swing on this show. I was actually taken aback at how much closer to conventional his swing appears in person than it does through the videos that you've seen. We were talking with him about that. And he said, you know, look, like a lot of times they'll do the super slow-mo and they'll sort of like emphasize and highlight and focus on some of the exaggerated parts of my swing that make it look even a little bit more ridiculous. But ultimately, you know, he's got the little kick move, the little trigger move. And then from there, especially if you're standing like face on to him, his swing just looked pretty normal except extremely powerful. And boy, does that man hit the ball very pure.
Yeah, he rips it. He absolutely rips it. And then it led to Frankie. We all, you know, did the mimic or whatever, and Frankie flushed me. I mean, I couldn't believe how well. And then actually, you were hitting it, I think, like kind of well at Fleetwood. I don't really remember how well you were hitting it prior to that. But once you did that little move, and spanked whatever you spanked on the green. Honestly, at that moment, you didn't miss a golf ball for 4 hours. Like, you just couldn't miss.
Yeah, it was something really freed me up. I don't know, man. It was such an exaggerated like helicopter move to get to like, and I don't know if that just helped me go straight back as opposed to like around or two. It was weird, man, because like I obviously don't know how to do the Matthew Wolf. So my version of the Matthew Wolf was bend the knees, come back to set, and then do the helicopter fucking swing, which like he really doesn't do that much. Like when you see it in person, it's not that crazy, like you're saying. Which I don't know how that's possible because it's outrageous on TV. Like, I mean, I called his swing like an orangutan flapping his arms, and I actually like tried to say that to him, but that got a little awkward. But
It did. He was just kind of like, haha. Yeah, no.
yeah, I was just like,
yeah.
I mean, I had to say it because like you just have like when you talk shit behind someone's back like that, you just gotta like say it like that because I just feel weird doing his swing and like.
I wouldn't think that would be your take.
No,
I would think that you can always talk shit behind somebody's back. I feel like would be your take.
Yeah, but I do that, and then I usually always tell the person that I did it. Like I've always said with Riggs, like when he wasn't on the show, the first thing I did on the next show was like, I want to let you know we talked the whole ass show about you. Like we were saying a lot of mean things. Don't go back and listen. So yeah, I just felt weird like doing his swing and people being like, well, didn't Frankie say it was like the ugliest swing ever? So I was just like, I have to say something. Turns out that it really helped me, man. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Dude,
it was crazy.
Swing like as hard as you want. Someone said it's a power swing, and that's exactly what it is. You're like you're like going crazy up and then straight down into it, and you just can't believe that you make contact. And when you do, it fucking launches.
Dude, Riggs hit a good one too, and I think Frankie pointed out at the time, like Riggs brought it straight back. Like it caused him to bring the club straight back, and he fucking pounded one. And it's like it's so exaggerated that it makes you do things differently in your swing. And some of them are clearly positive because he's an incredibly good golfer and hits it a mile. So, you can take a few, as unconventional and unorthodox as that swing is, there are parts of it that you can take away from it that would help your swing overall.
Yeah, and it was difficult a little bit to mimic it because like you don't really there's so much going on and you're thinking too much. You're like, what does he exactly do? And we just kind of all did the trigger thing, and then you swing and you felt like you did some crazy like magic sword move, and you look up and the ball's just pured at the flag, and you're like, holy shit, like this guy might be onto something. So Wolf was very cool. Then we obviously took him to the challenge where we did the one club. That went very well. He was into it, as they all were. We got Kyle Morikawa out there. You guys know him well. Like I said, we've had him on the podcast a few times. He's great because he's got a little bit of a different approach. He's clearly a little bit more like calculated and a little bit more serious, yet he was chirping hard. Like he was
Hard.
balls hard. He was trying to get in guys' kitchen. He had Mark Steinberg with him, who is as powerful of an agent and of a figure as you can possibly have in golf and in a lot of other places in sports, especially. And he was loving it. So he's walking around like he was like kind of grilling Morikawa about like his strategy and being like, bro, like, do we want to win this? Like, what are you doing with this club choice? It was hilarious.
Dude, Steinberg stepped on my ball like he was like pissed at like where my position was. Like walked over to it and just like gave it a nice heel into the ground and just dead looked me right in the eyeball. He's like, yeah, like good luck fishing that one out. Like he's like, he goes, I'm this guy's like adversary now. Is that the word? Yeah.
Advisor. Because he was like hey, you need to advise him.
An enemy.
Adversary, yeah.
I've made this exact mistake on this podcast, talking about someone that's super close to someone, and I said adversary. Meanwhile, it's quite literally an advisor.
Yeah, you meant probably advisory. You probably meant advisory role.
Right.
Instead of adversarial.
At one point, just during a random time, I was in the car with Frankie, and Lurch and Riggs were ahead of us, and Steinberg was just on the back of your guys' car. And it was like, it's one of those moments where you're like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Dude, if there wasn't a more nervous person in the U.S. than I was with him on the back of my car. I was like, if I hit a bump, if I hit a sprinkler head, if I like accelerate too fast, like I don't hurt just anybody. Like Steinberg's going down. I was so nervous. I was like, dude, just walk. or you ride and I'll walk. Like, I don't want to be part of this right now at all.
Were you guys
I
like
felt-
having a conversation? Was he doing like the caddy talk like through the back of the cart?
Dude,
No, he's
yeah,
kind of standing up there a little bit.
I kind of hit him with like, oh, have you played out here before? And he was like,
True.
no, but like me and Tiger played down the street a little bit one time, and I was like,
True.
okay,
True.
sweet. That's pretty
Morikawa
sweet, yeah.
dropped Tiger was telling me this the other day, and I was like, excuse me, Woods? Like, I mean, the fact that they were just able to talk about Tiger like that. I mean, Steinberg was just sitting there on his phone, definitely just texting Tiger. It was a very, very, very cool experience because Morikawa is built from that. I know he doesn't like the expectations. He fucking hates expectations, and he hates goals and all this shit. He's built from the same cloth as Tiger Woods. I'm sorry. He's just got that edge. He's got that killer instinct. You guys will see that, and I hope our cameras pick up. And our guys did a great job out there, Brendan and Jake, and Ian on our sales team. He was fucking running around with
Yeah, he was. Ian was killing it.
But I hope that we picked up at some point his eyes, man, that he was looking at us like, what, like, I'm going to murder you out here. Like, I'm coming for blood. It was like he was trying to get in our head. He was smirking and, like, winking. It was like he really was trying to get, like, an advantage, a mental advantage.
He got in my head. Like, I melted down. He got in my head hard, and he knew it. He just looked at me and was like, you're collapsing. I was like, yeah, I know I'm collapsing.
Dude, I couldn't believe at the end of the hole, and I won't say like who won or lost or halved or whatever, but he made a putt, and then he gave this look that was just like, that was a killer's eyes. Like, I looked into somebody that like looks at people of our level and has beaten them for thousands of years, and that was the look of like, I've done it again.
And he's like 10 years younger than you, which is hilarious.
Dude, his answers are like impeccable. Yeah, I mean, he's younger than me. He's more talented. Like, he's calling.
I mean, it's not a mistake that Steinberg is following him around. That he's out there with it. Like, that's Morikawa. As the kids say, he's built different. He's just different. He's a different type of guy, and he's already been incredibly successful, but he's gonna be fucking incredible going forward.
He's here for a long, long time, and he's going to win a lot. And I'm sorry, he hates me saying that, and he hates people talking about it, but it's just all the guys we met today, there was a lot of good golfers. There was Masters champions. I mean, there was a lot of fucking good players out there. He just hits me different, man. There's something about his fucking, the way he conducts himself. Maybe it's because Steinberg was there, the whole thing, but he just felt like, holy smokes, this is the prodigy here. This is the guy.
Dude, what are you going to say, Riggs?
No, go ahead, Larch.
Okay. So, like, he is very thoughtful, and Steinberg is, like, coaching him to be more calculated, I feel like, and grind over shots and make sure that, like, he's winning. Like, Steinberg's message to him of what club are you going to take, why, like, that is through him. And I feel like through kind of, like, Tiger, obviously, but those are like the two clients that like want to win. And then when we met up with DJ and we were talking to him, I think Riggs was like, yeah, Morikawa was grinding over every 60-degree wedge and like made whatever score he did. And DJ, like in his different mannerism, was just like, of course he was, just so good in terms of the different personalities that they are, but obviously achieving just mega success at every level.
Yeah, Morikawa's a stud. He's next level. He's got that focus. He's got that sort of it factor, and he presents himself. He's mature, whatever you want to call it. He was all over it. Then we had Doc Redman, who's a little bit of he was like a bro. He was sort of whatever the hell you guys want to do. You guys want to putt? Let's putt. Would like tell us a lot more about kind of your putting and your technique. He's like, yeah, it's just kind of feel. I just kind of feel it. And then he's like, actually, like a lot of putts, most putts don't even go in, so it doesn't really matter if you got the line. And I was like, that's a good point. As long as you get it close to the hole, that's pretty good. And he just kind of had that attitude the whole time. And he pulled driver, like we did the one club, and he's like, yeah, I'll just go with driver. The driver. So Doc Redman was cool. We had a little history talking about with Doug Gim. Him and Doug Gim battled in the 36-hole finale at the U.S. Amateur at Riviera in 2017, with Doc Redman making like a 50 or 60 footer, maybe even longer on the 35th hole when he had to make it for eagle to get to one down. Doug Gim had like 5 feet for birdie to win the match if that didn't go in. And then he birdied the 18th hole at Riviera as well to force a playoff. and then beat Doug in a playoff. So, like, we've gotten to know Doug over the last month or couple months, and those two went at it. So we were kind of talking a little bit about the U.S. Amateur and their history, and he had some interesting putting where he was switching from cross-handed based on different putts and stuff. So cool stuff with Doc Rubman. And then we had Harry Higgs, Harry Higgs is just the biggest beauty maybe in all of golf. He just rips his shirt, all the buttons on a golf shirt as far down as he can, for the full V. And that pretty much sums up his personality. He's just chilling. He's hanging. He's shooting the shit. He's telling us about, his golf course back in Dallas and his whole life and his whole mantra, his whole approach to the game. And we're talking about the other golfers and how different his approach is. And he's just there to have himself a fucking great time. So anything that you film or shoot or record with Harry Higgs is going to be good. And he was fantastic. He was also significantly more instructional, and he was into it. Like, you do learn, even if these guys are sort of, and we've learned this a lot with kids, but like, he's a beauty. He's a clown. He's like got a great personality. He's joking around. But like, in order to be on the level that Harry Higgs is on, you got to know your shit and be into it and be locked in on some certain level. And he very clearly is. And he's helping us, like I said, with shots. And that actually was very enthralling to me. Like, that got all of us pretty glued into what was going on when he started teaching a couple different shots, down to the point that we all threw balls down. We're like, well, I want to try this crazy shot now. So he was cool as hell. And also, like I said, a little bit more, I guess, into it maybe than some people might expect on some of the golf fronts.
I was nervous about the time with every golfer except Harry Higgs. I knew it was going to go well. Like, he was just cool from the moment he pulled up. And if you followed him for even half a second on anything he's ever done, he's just awesome. We were talking about barbecue. We were talking about burnt ends. We're talking about mac and cheese. We're just similar guys. Me, him, and Lurch compared our size. We're just big guys that like to eat. And he's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humor. We ended the day with him, and it was a great way to end it, just on like a really fun, instructional, but also very fun note with Harry Higgs for sure.
Yeah, he is a beauty. And I think that speaks to like all these guys, I think super successful people. Sometimes you think like, oh, they're, funny, or they're like outgoing and they seem kind of like, I don't know, goofy or laid back in nature, or just like not that hyper-focused person. But then when you get them in their environment, they're so knowledgeable. DJ's uber competitive and knows exactly where everyone lies, what they're going for, and like what their lie is. And Harry Higgs is the same way. You think he's just like this jovial, fun-loving guy that, is just really good at golf. It's like, no, he knows so much about the swing, what's possible with that lie, how to get around or cut shots based on your environment. Like, it is incredible when you actually dial it in to how much a Kisner knows and how in tune they are with everything. And I think that's always something like that's so impressive when you're speaking with them and then you actually get someone in their professional environment of how dialed in and knowledgeable they are about every given approach that they have.
Yeah, there's a lot of grain talk, and I never thought that was.
No.
I know that people talk about grain, but like on wedge shots and like knowing where certain parts of the green or the green surroundings, like funnel in water. Like, I know we were by like a drain at one point, and they were like, all right, well, you have this grain coming towards this, this is where all the water filters down. You have this drain, so you have to hit this kind of shot. You cannot sweep under it. You have to basically check into it. Like, that's stuff that's just like knowledge they have over us just by knowing the game more. Like, it's almost like in baseball where you're like, all right, like when there's a runner on first and second, no outs, like, and the pitcher's up, you bunt the runner's over. You just know you do that. We don't know that stuff. We don't know those rules of the game. We don't know in those situations you do certain stuff. We just swing for the fence every single time. We know nothing about smart baseball. And that is exactly what the difference is between every single one of these guys. And some of the guys on tour know more than other guys, and I think that's what gives them the edge. Certain guys know certain shots, and they know, like, where to go. I mean, there was some shots over these fucking pot bunkers in front of the greens that, like, DJ was like, oh, that's a really tough shot. Like, you're downhill, down slope. You got to try and pick it clean because on this type of grass, there's no chance you get, like, they know everything, and we know nothing. So how can we even come close to playing the same game? We're not even in the same universe.
No.
Yeah, It's all true. It's all fascinating. We love golf and we're into these little intricacies about the game. That's why we do a golf podcast. That's why you guys are listening. So what we tried to accomplish today is basically to convey what it's like to be able to mess around with some of these guys for 30 minutes or an hour, how you could pick their brains, but also get a competitive spell out of them, how you can, find out some more insight from the people who do it every single day and do it better than anybody else in the world, but also get a few laughs and get them going in one way or another. And so, yeah, again, we worked hard. We came up with as many ideas as we could. We spent the entire day out there executing and trying to get this shit done and do it well and make sure these guys had a good time and make sure we get it all filmed and hopefully presented and brought to you people that are listening and that you folks that are going to be watching. So we have at least, we know the number now when you guys are listening, but we have at least 10 videos that we filmed today, probably 11 or 12. And I'm confident that they're all really, really good. They're informative. They're funny. They show some personality from the guys that you otherwise might not have seen. So a big thanks to TaylorMade for having us out. I cannot explain to you how giddy and how high we are coming off this TaylorMade new club high. Everybody knows what it's like to get new equipment. It's cool no matter what you get. When you get that new equipment and it's the best in the game, it's the equipment that Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson are using. When it comes with a driver that they use 10 sound engineers just to create the way that it's going to sound coming off the club face, and then it delivers, it is another level of high in terms of being a golf addict and having the bug that you can't even imagine experiencing. So if you're in any way thinking about going out and getting a new driver, getting a new set of irons, getting a full set, bag, and you don't go TaylorMade, then I just don't even know how to communicate with you, because you don't and will never understand the experience that we've been fortunate enough to go through. It's life-changing. It's game-changing, literally game-changing. It will change your game. It changed Frankie's today. And it's hard to possibly endorse further something than I think we're all endorsing TaylorMade right now.
Yeah, it's just got a different pop to it. It's just built different, as someone on here said. It's just perfect. And like you said, if someone is making a decision on new clubs or an upgrade and they're not thinking TaylorMade, after seeing some of these clubs that are coming out, the Sim 2, my putter, the Ardmore, I didn't even know that thing existed. I'll never putt with another putter in my life. Tiger used it when he was messing around with the mallet. It's crazy good putter. It's just got a different type of pop. And honestly, for anyone that's like a gear freak and loves the equipment and all this stuff, it's just a really cool reset on your game. It's like a clean, fresh reset. Everything about it's like, all right, like I wash my clubs. They look nice and like shiny, clean, and they have a cool look to them. But then all of a sudden you get a whole new look into it, a whole new cavity back, however the new technology is. And you don't realize how much of a mental reset it is. You really don't. It's stunning how visually appealing it is, because it's still a golf club. It should look somewhat similar, but they don't. They just don't. They're all different. They just look different, and I love the appealing look of TaylorMade irons, the drivers. Everything about them has been built for the best of the best, quite literally. Ever hear of Dustin Johnson? Ever hear of Tiger Woods? Ever hear of Rory McIlroy? I mean, come on. The list goes on and on and on. And then they're built for guys like fucking Trent and me and Riggs and Lurch. That's who they're fucking – they go from the top to the bottom, and they showed that today. They showed it today by inviting us there. They know. They get it, all right? Other companies don't get it. They get who they're, like, selling to, and they're fucking selling to the everyday fucking golfer. That's who they're selling to. Because
I'm just trying to suck less, and these clubs help me suck less. That's really what it comes down to.
You didn't suck today. Like, I was so impressed with you off the tee. I never seen you like that in my life. Like, you were fucking hitting it out there straight and hard. And I think you had the Sim 2 Max. I think it was the Sim 2 Max, like a little bit bigger head.
Yeah.
You hit it so straight. I've never seen you hit it that straight. And it was so game changing. It put you in a great position on pretty much every hole that we played. It was fucking awesome. And that's, like I said, we're talking about Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, Matt Wolff, Tommy Fleetwood. And then we're talking about this single driver that they just put in Trent's hands that just improved the shit out of his driving overnight and with nothing. It was just like, it was amazing. It was very cool to witness.
Yeah, I think. Sorry. No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, because it's gonna veer off topic for 1 second, but I just want us all to take a second and appreciate. And I don't want to spoil any of the videos, but I just want to say this one thing. I want us all to take a moment and appreciate the 3-wood that Dustin Johnson hit today.
Oh my God.
Maybe the greatest shot I'll ever see in my entire life. Like, you guys can't see the podcast right now, but Riggs and Frankie and they all have their hands on their heads because it's just something like you've never ever seen before.
He stepped on a 3-wood and flushed it so flush and so pure that I don't think a golf ball could be hit any better if it was a machine that was built to do it. Like, he hit it perfectly. If someone handcrafted a machine to hit a golf ball perfectly, I think Dustin Johnson would have hit it better than that.
I mean, I think he's close. He's as close to his machine as there possibly is in this universe, because his warm up was to drop 4 balls and just hit them into the bushes, as he said, and then after that, when we were doing the challenge or whatever on the hole, he put that 3-wood swing on that golf ball that I've never seen in my life. I mean, it was a go zone from him, and I think it was 327 to the stick with a little breeze behind you. And it looked every bit 320. I mean, it was absolutely on a missile. It went so far and fast, I could never see anything different.
People are going to see the video, but, like, at one point, we're like, all right, can you just, like, give this to us? Like, just show us. And he goes, no problem. Like, I'll try. And he does this thing where, like, he steps up to it and did a little, like, check of his, like, take back. And he was about to hit. And then I think he looked again, like, all right, let me really dial this in for these guys. And he did a step back. He actually stepped off the ball and did it again. Yep. And I was like, holy shit. It was almost like you're on a fucking roller coaster and did those couple ticks back before you shoot forward. And I was like, this guy's about to do something nuts. And he kind of laughed, which he's hit those shots, obviously, all his life. And he kind of, like, smirked at the end, like, that was a good one. That's as good as I could hit that. That's as far as I can go.
He did. He absolutely knew. Like, as he was driving off, he kind of looked back and he's like, that was hit pretty well. And we were like, yeah, no, we know, we saw it. And it was, I think he had like 318 to cover this giant, like, pop bunker in front of the green. And then he had 327 flag and he flushed it right at the pin. It had to have gone a little over 300 yards. And for him to even, like, try that shot, a 3-wood off the gut, it was so cool to witness.
Those are just the reminders that they're just different human beings and they're playing a different game. Like, when you're just kind of chipping or out of the bunker, you see how it's maybe attainable, or if we're both hitting 8 irons into a green, it's like, okay, I get this. But then when you see them take that TaylorMade driver, a 3-wood, and just pound a golf ball like that, you're just like, well, I can never humanly do that. Like, I don't know what I could do, but that just won't be it for me.
It was impressive, man. It was next level. That's why he's the best player in the world. That's why he's the reigning Masters champ. And, to see it in person, it was something. So on our YouTube page, Foreplay Golf, we will have all these videos on our social pages. At Foreplay Pod. We'll be tweeting about them, putting them out on Instagram, putting them on BarstoolSports.com. So you won't miss these videos. They're really, really good. We're pumped about the way that they came out, and hopefully they showcase these guys a lot more and what the TaylorMade experience is like. So check those out and enjoy them.